Good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is that you are watching from the world today. Welcome to the WOFB podcast. I am your host, Cameron Matheny, principal of Cameo Studio Designs, founder of the CEU, visionary, entrepreneur, all of the things, right? Today, you guys, I am so excited. We are broadcasting from the Moxie Hotel at the new podcast studios. They are a sponsor now of the WOFB. We are here at 1234 Central Avenue in downtown St. Petersburg, where the sun is shining and the flamingos are pink as can be. This podcast is proudly presented by the WOFB and sponsored by Latacree Cameo Studio Design and, as I just mentioned, the absolute fabulous Moxie Hotel. Guys, if you are a DIYer enthusiast, a contractor, or a tile expert, we are shining a light on a brand that is known as Latacree that is synonymous with quality and innovation. If you are planning your next tiling project or tackling a big renovation, ensure successful installation each and every time with the most comprehensive assortment of innovation tile, stone, installation materials available worldwide. Industry-leading products from Latacree offer complete system solutions from the substrate through the grout for virtually any type of project. Look no further than Latacree. Here's the website, latacree.com, for all of your adhesive grout and waterproofing needs. Today, guys, I am so excited. Today I am chatting with Daniela Yankovic as we are kicking off another episode of season 3. So this is episode 2, season 3, breaking boundaries, women shaping the future of tile, women who are innovative in the tile industry, pushing limits on what is possible and leading in areas like sustainability, design, technology, business growth, which that's what we're all about, flourishing in our business growth. We're looking at commercial tile installers, showroom owners, and we can explore unique approaches to leadership and also how they are driving change in a traditionally male-dominated space. We love our allies, though, don't forget, and what the future looks like for prospective women that are young as the evolution of tiled standardization and integration changes. So last week we did talk a lot with Erin, so be sure to watch that episode. But without further ado, I am so excited. She has the biggest smile backstage, you guys. Wait till you see this beautiful woman. She is the owner of IC Surface Studio in Rockwall, Texas. Daniela has nearly 2 decades of experience in the tile industry. She is working her way up from her early days in the family business to managing operations for some of the largest tile manufacturers in the US. In 2023, she opened her own exclusive, which we know, I love exclusive, design showroom offering luxurious surface products from both indoor and outdoor spaces. So welcome to season 3, Daniela. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. So excited.
You are so welcome. I love that Angie Weber from Nico Tati Design was like, oh, you have to meet her. She is so fabulous.
I love her.
And isn't she great? She was not kidding. So I'm so excited to be kicking off today's episode with you in our new space here in the Moxie Hotel. I love the background too, of which you have all of the beautiful tile and displays showing. So tell me about your space.
So my space is actually it's not your traditional space. We are located inside a 7-story building. So we're on the 6th floor. And we have we're located right here by the harbor. So we have a beautiful view of our shops area and then the water. And so that was, intentional. That was, we wanted to find something that was different. We wanted to find something and make it a really, a full experience, very, that you felt like, okay, I'm not at a tile store, and to still have that boutique feel that you would find in
Yes.
like a downtown area, but
Yes.
still the blend of the boutique with small town charm, because that's kind of
Yes.
descriptive of what I am. Is, you know, we all love the pretty things, but at the end of the day, I'm still a little small town girl. And so that we brought that into the space is, you know, where we're at. We're created a very exclusive experience with, but with a lot of details, with, you know, beautiful light fixtures, with a lot of spaces to create. So that was our goal, and I think we achieved it.
I think so too. You guys check out Daniela's website too, so you can see this beautiful space. I love it because I come from a design showroom background through Chicago, St. Louis, and have traveled all over. And my studio space here in Florida was set up in a luxury design space, kind of like you're talking about. So what you were showing me reminds me of like the Merchandise Mart in Chicago. Have you ever been to the Merchandise Mart?
I have not,
Oh my gosh, you have to go.
but
So
on
you
my
would
bucket
love
list.
it. Yes, it is on. You should go in September. Come to Design Week in Chicago with me. You will love it. Oh my gosh, so many fabulous design studios. So I love that you were able to take an opportunity. I think that you opened your space during the pandemic, right?
We did. I mean, it was a little bit after that, the pandemic, but
Okay.
honestly, the pandemic, you know, made us, because I've wanted to open up the space for a while. And, you know, like most people, it's scary. You leave your corporate career that you know you find you know, the safety and the comfort in it, right? So of course during the pandemic you're like, "Well, wait a minute, do I really want to do this or not?" But honestly, just seeing still that even though the you know, we were in a pandemic, our people still had needs. You still needed to build. You still, you know, you probably weren't going out and buying a brand new outfit because there was nowhere to go, but people were still working on their homes, and you know, people still wanted, you know, nice things, and didn't want to be in a space where there's a ton of people, and wanted something a little more private, where you can, you know, if you want to stay away from, you know, some people thought there was like germs everywhere, right? Well, now you have a space to yourself. You have a
Right.
space to come create, make your selections, and it is, you know, still very uh one-on-one, but not like secluded in like a, you know, just like a
It's
Zoom
private
meeting or
and it's
something.
And I love that you brought that up. And that's such a common thing with an entrepreneur is the number one thing that we know about whenever we write our business plan, or at least from a serial entrepreneur brain, is what is the need? What is the need that I am fulfilling for my clients? What is that they want? And we saw it a lot, especially through a lot of the trade shows, Light Ovation. We saw it in lighting design. We saw it at KBIS. We saw it at all of the shows in the tile of what people were talking about and around the design. So post pandemic, you brought up a very good point, is people love to be in a space where they have comfort. And that's what the pandemic did to the design mind, as well as now we started seeing all of these light fixtures that were round, soft, that were all about embracement, all about welcoming that. But they were still timeless and classic. And in a design space, when we're looking at our homes, is that's what people want. That's what the pandemic did, I think, for people in their own homes, like you were talking about, was they wanted a space where they felt safe, they could find comfort, all of these things. And when we had to stay at home, that's what people wanted. They were like, okay. So I love
Absolutely.
that you were able to take that situation and really mold it and craft it into the space of where you are. So good job on
Thank you. I mean, especially, I mean, after the pandemic, I do think that people wanted, I'm kind of just, you know, saying the same thing all over again, but because it was very important. People were, you know, secluded, and they just wanted comfort and wanted, you know, to go just that next level.
Yes.
They really, and I personally, for me, I mean, I love hosting. I mean, at home, that's my jam. I love it. And
Yeah.
you know, I brought a lot of that here in the little details, and the Wi-Fi password being out, and just things being easy for you. And again, it's that comfort. We all love that comfort.
Yes, we do. So I love that you were able just to jump right in today and talk about where you are currently due to a past situation. Diving a little bit deeper into the past, I know that you're someone who's kind of grown up in the industry and you have this history of who you are. But for those listeners who don't know you and maybe followed your story, can you give me just a summary of like what led you aside from the pandemic to where you are today in the beginning?
Absolutely. So I started out working for my mom. So, strong Mexican woman. She had her own showroom when I was, I think she opened it up when I was maybe like a freshman in high school. And it was, she was a single mom, 4 kids, and took a leap of faith and, really not knowing a whole lot about the tile industry, and just was like, I have kids to support. I'm going to do it. And she opened up just a little small showroom. Back then it was her market, or what she was selling. It was more the 12 by 12 clay body tiles, 18, 16, 18s. I mean, there were no large, huge format back then, but that's where, what my foundation is working for her, working for free, but still working for her, and, learning. Yeah. And, was the person that I picked up all of the orders. So here I am, a little 17, because I was doing this before I was 18. So a little,
Right.
17-year-old in this big truck and picking up orders. But that, that was my introduction to the industry. But also my foundation, in that I never thought as a woman that I couldn't do it, because my mom did it. She did it with 4 kids, a single mom with 4 kids. So
Oh
that
my
that
gosh, I love
that
that.
that was that seed. That was that it was just always kind of the back of my mind, like, okay, my mom did it, and had great relationship with contractors. But so then, you know I eventually needed a job that actually paid. So I started working for, it was a family business, and it was, all not just tile, but it was, wood flooring, carpet, countertops. And then that was my introduction to more products. Shortly after that, I moved over to the manufacturing side. So I
Oh,
worked
neat.
for Marazzi Tile, and that was a really, really good experience, because I got to learn the manufacturing side of it. But what Marazzi was really known for is their technology. And
Mm,
so I learned more about the technical side of it, the porcelains, the ceramics, that was, to today, it's still helpful to me today. And then, after a while, then I moved over to, well, there was an acquisition. Mohawk acquired Marazzi back in, I think it was 2012, 2013, around there. And then
right.
at that point, I had transitioned from the operations side of the business to the finance side, um, which wasn't intentional. It was kind of accidental, but never
You
know
got to
where
have
the
that
universe is going
too.
to take. Yeah, you got to sometimes just go with it, right? So, but that was very helpful, because now I'm seeing a whole nother side of the business, from
Right.
the operations. I mean, I was out in the warehouse, we were doing cycle counts and working the showroom, to now seeing like the behind the scenes. And when Mohawk acquired Marazzi, we fell under that Daltal umbrella. So now
Mm,
we're in big corporate with, working for Daltal. In the finance side, I was responsible, from all the way from AR, which is where I started as far as my finance career, and then to managing incentive processing for Daltal. So, I mean, I would, my team, we would process about $2 million a month in commissions, $24 million a year in bonuses. I mean, we processed, a lot of money, but I mean,
right.
it's a huge company. So, um, all of those experiences were really, really, I guess I didn't realize it until later. It was, okay, you have experience in operations. You have, you've experience in showroom, experience in accounts receivable, accounts in processing incentives, and then also with working with sales, sales teams, marketing teams, operations teams. And so all of that, it just made sense. So besides, realizing that, hey, there is a need for something, different here in this area. Because so we're outside of Dallas, and it doesn't seem like it's very far, but we're about 20, maybe 20, 30 miles from our design district. But, to get there, it's pain in the butt. But the products that were in the design district, we didn't have out here. And so that was the other part of it, is what don't we have out here? What's not available to us? And what can I bring to it? How can I make it different?
Right.
And so that's kind of where that brainchild was born.
Yeah, and bringing all of those pieces together just from that experience. I mean, that's not anything that you can pull from a college degree. You have to have
Absolutely
that
not.
experience to know, and either it's an innate gift and you can drive that force if you have it. I mean, it's a beautiful thing what you've done. I love hearing these stories of entrepreneurs that have taken a passion from what they've known, their environment growing up, seeing those influencers around them, like your mom, and really creating something special. I'm sure she is so proud of you.
She is.
Yeah, that's so amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that. As someone who has also grown up in a showroom and all of the experience that you've talked about and seeing the evolution from the manufacturing side, from the office side, from job sites, this season is all about breaking boundaries. And do you feel that how do you feel that you're breaking boundaries in a traditionally male dominated space?
I mean, I think just deciding to put my, my name in the hat, or throw your name in the hat, right? It is, to I mean, you're already kind of breaking a boundary just by being in the commercial, not the builder side of the business, because there are not a whole lot of us out there. But it it's being able to prove yourself, but prove yourself in a way that you're different. Because, as women, we the things that makes us different, the fact that we're naturally creative, that we're detail oriented, that right there is our strength. That's our superpower. That's what sets us apart from, you know generally, how men are, because we we have this natural creativity, we have this
Right.
natural, abilities that sets us apart from what they do. Plus, we're bringing what they're also doing. We also have the knowledge. We can also get out there and, unload boxes of tile, because trust me, there's many a box of tile that I've drug up here. And just that we're here, and we're able to do it. And I'm not saying we can do it better, but we can do it different. And that's the good thing, to be able to do it differently.
Right. And being able to work with our allies. Every single episode and women that
Oh
I
yeah.
interview, they kind of talk about that exact same thing. And it's all about, like, how can we make it better? How can we enhance? And so working with our allies and just standing, in that area of, like, you bring up a really good point too about having that education and knowing that that's something you can never take away from anyone throughout that job site. So I love that you brought that up, and knowledge is key with any of this. So speaking of, like, go ahead. I was going to bring up about speaking about challenges maybe that you have faced as a woman in the tile manufacturing and showroom management. How do those challenges create opportunities of growth for you?
Um, I kind of want to bring a little bit what you said, because you continue to say allies, and I love that word. I like that you're saying allies, because, especially working in big, big corporate, like a company like Delta, a company like Mohawk, a company like Marazzi, it is a, and still for the most part, it's still a good old boys club. And,
Mm-hmm.
I remember early on in my career, and I probably, I maybe because I'm Mexican, a little fiery, very passionate person. And I remember in the beginning of my career, I get questions about something, and I would go into, you're like, well, what do you mean? Well, no, you didn't see this, you didn't see that, and I requested da 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 da. And it wasn't until I realized, you know what, you take a step back and listen. What that's like. I joke around with my husband. I remember learning that lesson, which probably not a good thing to say to your husband, but I told him, I remember, I distinctly remember I was in an executive meeting, and then I just told myself, shut up, don't say anything, just shut up, don't say, nothing. And that was that I didn't realize just how important that was, because by me just listening, by me not debating, that I noticed that the executive team, which is primarily men, just started to listen. Although I was quiet, there was something about that change, that shift, that they started asking me questions. I'm not giving it
Mm.
to you, you're asking me. And learning how, for me, what worked for me, learning how to work with our allies, I realized, like, wow, they respect me. And that was,
Right.
you know, un, for women, again, especially in corporate, and in what we do, that respect, to earn that respect, that's a big deal. And so learning that, and having that open communication, and for them to see, hey, she's listening, I don't just want to
Right.
debate everything. But after that, once I said, hey, this is okay, you asked me for this, and this is my recommendation, I recommend we not do this, or I recommend maybe we shift it and do this, that just made such a difference. And it gives you confidence. It made me
Absolutely.
feel, especially like you said, someone, you know I don't, my background was not in finance. I don't have a college degree, and so I worked my way up for every single position. And in the finance industry, that degree is required. And so for me to even get there, which I worked really hard, and have great relationships to get there, but at the end of the day, you still have to be able to do the job. And so
Right.
being able to do, to get their respect, to earn their respect, not get them, I earn their respect. And they would listen, they would, that just, because you're self, you, at least for me, I used to be really self-conscious about that. Not, I don't have the degree, and I'm around all these finance, these very, very smart finance people. But that that just was such a important for me, because it didn't matter the degree, it mattered my work, it mattered that I
Right.
knew what I was talking about, and that I was going to follow through. And that also helped me with deciding that I'm going to leave my corporate career and do this. It's like I can have these meetings with these executives, and they respect me, that listen, like, why can't I do it? I can't be hung up on a degree, or anything else like that. Like, why can't it be me? I can do this. I,
I
I
think
think
that
I think I answered the question.
you did, and I think that that is super important to know. And I can tell you from experience of coming from someone. I was a high school dropout. No one thought that I would amount to anything because I was such a rebel, right? I was such a rebel. I was a young mom. And then by the age of 19, I was already practicing in my first business. And I ended up going to school, and I actually got a degree. I went to school for college for 12 years. Okay. I do not use any of my degree. My degree is in psychology, biology, and I have physics, underground in physics. I do not, well, I use some of it as a lighting designer, but like that is not what I went to, school for. So that degree, yes, it's important, but I also believe that that's a social construction, because as
Oh
society,
yeah.
society says you need this, you need this, you need this. But guess what? I have $100,000 in student loan debt that I do not use any of that stuff for. to a degree. I say that because there are some things, relationship, communication, being able to stand on stage by doing some of those things, but you have that gift. And when you have that gift and that social construction of that environment of your mother, of all of those things that you saw, that is what creates impact. That is what creates that knowledge and that innate gift that no college can give to you, because college cannot give you a degree that says you're driven, you're innovative, you're this, you're that. The only thing that it can give you is somewhat of tools, but those tools can also be learned. So kids, go hang out with your parents.
No, 100%. 100%.
So
you get snaps.
Yeah, right. So thank you for being, completely transparent and honest, because I believe, honestly, there's a lot of women that will stop their thinking power of what they can do because they don't have a degree. Some of the best designers, some of the best self-taught architects. Julie Ireland is a self-taught design architect. I don't think she ever went to architectural school. So there's all of these things that whatever it is that you have that drive, you have that creative mindset, left brain, right brain, wherever you can tap into that right there, that's the degree of self, the degree of knowing thyself is truly,
Absolutely.
I think, the most impact over anything else. So I go off on a little tangent with education stuff.
I love it.
So as far as the innovation, and since we're kind of talking a little bit about leadership here, I see Surface Studio offers curated selection of luxury handmade materials. How do you blend traditional craftsmanship with modern design trends and stay ahead of the industry? So shifting gears just a little bit.
That's interesting because, especially like, because we're it's fashion, right? The different trends is fashion. Just like the fashion industry, you always want to stay a step ahead. But that's such a, and this might not be a popular mentality here or way of thinking, but I think it's about being relatable more than just being ahead. It's about, hey, this is, I know what's going on. Obviously we go to the conventions and we follow social media, we read all of the magazines, but for our showroom it's about being relatable and having the products for our clients, because the definition of whether it's modern, whether it's craftsman, whether it's traditional, everyone has a different opinion of that, right? That someone's modern might not be someone else's, but my job is to have a wide variety of products so that whatever your interpretation of modern is, that we have that here. So it's about for us, it's about being relatable, because chasing that, what's the new hot thing, what's coming out, well, there's a cycle for that, and it takes time. And so it's me being able to support our clients now and having a wide variety of designs for traditional all the way to modern.
And I love that you bring that up too, because just like many showrooms coming from the lighting design space, lighting, just like you mentioned, tile, it's very much so following the seasons of design. So every season, I remember my mom used to change out her closet every season, right? This woman, not to go too far off here, but this woman had a closet just for shoes in the summer. I think we counted close to 600 pairs of summer shoes, right? So with every transition, she would shovel out and move all this stuff, right? And I remember thinking, and how this relates is, as a showroom, if you try to keep up with every season change, I know some showrooms that have thousands and thousands of fixtures. They never sold, but they were trying to keep up with the trends. Same thing with tile. They're trying to keep up with trends. So as a showroom moving into, those different trends, I love that you brought up that you stick with, you're kind of meeting the client where they are. And so that really pushes me into, like, last episode, we talked about the hammer versus the honey approach when we are approaching and working with clients of, like, I love that you kind of have this honey approach of meeting that client where they are and letting them to decide what is traditional, what is modern, based on then the selections that you can get. Because I can imagine your showroom, if you had everything that was trend and coming out, you'd have slabs, you've had the glass, all of this stuff. So to keep it dialed in, you have that experience, which is beautiful of what you've learned from of past, because those multi-million dollar showrooms, they'll drop it like they don't care. They got the best of the
Oh
best and
yeah.
what's true, whatever.
Yeah, no, and that's so it's tough. It's because it's a real balance. It's obviously it costs money, and it's especially with we just started our business. Don't have it. I haven't figured out. I haven't found the right tree to plant where their money where money grows out of it. So it's a balance of having those selections. Yes, having what is trending now, but also okay, let's see what the how this plays out. Let's see if
Right.
this is just for a little bit, a little while, and then it's going to go away. And maybe this magenta, neon, whatever is or it's also
Girl,
no
that was
longer my
last
market.
year.
But it's also like you have to know your market, you have to know your customers, and you have to be able to meet their needs. Because if you have you fill your showroom with, hey, what's new, it's your clients might not like it. So it's about listening. I listen to our designers, I listen to our community, and that's, I think, for me, it's like the one of the most important things I do is listen.
Right. And I have found in just talking through designers in the industry, just in general at, the shows or just here on the podcast, is if we can stick with timeless and classic, all of those neutrals, those colors and things like that, that is key. And I think that, again, driving back to what you first talked about, is the pandemic. Timeless, classic, vintage, we feel comfortable, we remember those things. It takes us to a place of when we were younger and maybe we're embraced more as a human being than as an adult, having to live in the grown-up world, right, of stress and all of these demands. Speaking of trends, Rachel Morty, her episode came out last week. She's a color specialist, insane, brilliantly insane designer. And she talked all about color drenching, how now we're starting to see so much color moving into our tile space. And you mentioned magenta. I wish magenta would be the color of the year every year, because it's so fun and beautiful. And I think that the color drenching and the things that you're talking about, whatever we can do to entice that dopaminergic chemical release within our design space and for our clients, they'll keep coming back, because who doesn't love dopamine, right?
Oh yeah.
So, what advice do you have for other women looking to break into and lead in the tile industry, or just in entrepreneur industry as a whole? What advice do you have?
Oh, that's a really great question. Um, my advice would be to embrace what makes you different, to embrace, because I think I'm definitely guilty of it, of you know because this is a male dominated industry, that you're like, okay, I want to do what they're doing. I want, I want you to feel comfortable. I want to go golfing. I want to, well, first of all, I need to learn how to golf to go golfing. But, and I'm like, I can't hit a ball to save my life. I can't catch anything to save my life. So why do it? Why? But what I am is, I am creative. I am hardworking. Embracing the things that make me me, my quirkiness, but the fact that I'm bilingual, just embracing everything that makes me me, and push that, and but I feel like I'm really, really proud to see, especially the last couple of years, see more women. We are out there, and there's more of us. I see more female sales managers. I see more women executives, you know more than, I know there's other industries like the fashion industry, but I where there are, primarily women, but for being this industry, like I am seeing more, and that is very, very exciting because I
Yeah.
feel like that is, that will inspire someone else. That one, sales manager for that big company is like, you know what, if she's a sales manager, why can't I do it? But really to answer your question is really embracing yourself. It's embracing what makes you different. If you don't have to go and wear the boots and the jeans, like if you're glam girl, glam it up because there
Right.
is a client for you that you're going to be different. You're going to stand out.
You're right. That's
Just so
right.
just embrace it.
I love that you said that because coming from the lighting industry and, my background is fusing lighting into the tile industry. That's what I'm known for. And people always remembered. I remember the first few times going into a job site wearing heels and they were like, "Oh, you can't wear heels." And I was like, fuck, I can. I can do whatever I want. Yes, I can. I am my own person. But being that edgier person, coming with the tattoos, coming just with this voice that doesn't leave, not afraid to stand in my power, not afraid to be me. And I think that again, it goes back to the very beginning, knowing that autonomy, knowing who you are. You cannot get that from a college education. You get that from being able to do the work within and coming as you are, and you will get those clients. I remember someone I interviewed in it, or no, someone that I saw through a magazine, and it was Rebel in Luxury, and she was very exotic, very just like beautiful, came with this like sexual energy, but was also this high end luxury designer who was getting paid like $1,500 an hour just to design a kitchen. You know what I mean? It was on the front cover of all of these magazines. And it was just like, wow, not only is she standing in her power, but she's going up against the Marxists. She's going up against all of these ideologies of what a successful woman is in the industry. So I love that. So anyway, going off on my tangents there, but
I love it.
yeah, Daniela, wrapping up today, finally, what excites you the most about the future of IC Surface Studio and the role of women shaping that tile industry moving forward? So let's talk more about your studio since you covered the woman part.
What excites me is to change the way the way people shop, the way they think they should shop, is to set a different standard, to that you can you don't have to go into the design district. You don't have to go to these places that maybe you feel a little out of place. That can be that you know experience can be had other places, and that we
Right.
are bringing that here to Rockwall. But you know what? I was actually thinking about this last night. Just thinking about what kind of legacy, or what do you want to leave? What do you want to and as specifically for me as it relates to being a woman. And I'm a very proud mom of two sons. I have my girls, or my dogs, are my favorite kids, but I do have two sons, two human children.
Yes.
And you know seeing my mom, single mom, four kids, doing it, that little like nugget that was kind of left in the back of my mind. It's like, okay, well, she did it. And that was so different, seeing,
Yeah.
especially as a woman, seeing it and that being different. But what I was thinking, what, with my boys, what I want them to see it as a normal. Like, I hope that I can teach my boys, because I think it's, yes, it's great that we empower our girls, we empower our women, but as a mom with sons, it's also that I want them to just see a woman in a leadership role, an entrepreneur, just like a badass mom, as a
Yeah.
normal. That's just
Right.
normal to see as the expectation. It's not that it's rare. It's that, yeah, of course, I'm going to support, in their future, support my wife. And respect my boss, and because that's what I grew up with. That's the norm.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I really, want them. That's important to me, that
Creating
that
legacy, connection.
to leave a legacy, but that's their expectation, that they expect, like, of course I'm going to see women leaders because that's what I've
Right.
seen. That's what I know.
Right.
That's what I'm going to support.
Right.
That's what I hope to leave them. And I mean, their names are in the business, so they better freaking support.
Yeah.
They're the I and the C. They're my Isaiah and
Right.
Christopher.
I remember that. So that's so amazing. And, I really like whenever I see families like Erin from JNR Tile, her family, she's been in this, her whole family. She's watched this since she was a little girl. And I love hearing stories like that. And I just, I wish that that was something that I could come from. But just like I have daughters as well. And so they love, each of them stand in a very, powerful position. They've done lots of college. They're, multi entrepreneurs as well. And so to be able to see that, it's like, oh, wow. For me, I broke the chain of what wasn't ever established in my family before and have evolutionized how women are now being seen in my own family. So I love that, you're continuing to take that growth of what you learned and teach it to the young men, your sons and, your family. That's such a beautiful thing. So thank you for sharing that. I'm so excited that I got to hang out with you today. What are your socials where people can find you?
So we are IC Surface Studio on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on all of the socials. We're IC Surface Studio.
Super.
So follow us.
We will also be sure to launch all of this, so all of your feeds. And I'm so excited that I got to hang out with you today. So if you guys are in Rockwall, be sure to visit Daniela at IC Surfaces Studio and check out her space. I know whenever I come there to visit, I will definitely come and check out your space as well. I wish you so much luck and keep us updated on how things are going. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. And I love that you're highlighting women. I think that it's just women, supporting women, empowering women. It's beautiful.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
it is. So you're so welcome. Okay, I will see you next time then. Thank you, Daniela. Bye-bye. Guys, I am so excited. So season 3, we are breaking boundaries, women shaping the future of tile, women who are innovating in the tile industry, pushing limits of what's possible, also the design industry or the lighting as well. So a word from our sponsor, guys, if you are in the St. Petersburg area or even looking for a hotel space, please check out moxyhotels.marriott.com. Their spaces are so amazing. We are so excited to be sponsored by Moxy here in St. Petersburg. Also, if you are looking for a group to join like the WOFB, check out womenflooring.com. And if you are looking to be a sponsor for the podcast, email podcast@womenflooring.com. We do have space for you. And a word from our sponsor, imagine products that not only meet expectations, the toughest industry standards with third-party certifications to back them up. With Laddercree, you get that peace of mind and solutions designed to stand the test of time. That is the Laddercree promise. And guys, if you are looking for a CEU for your design space, please feel free to reach out to me, which I don't even have my website. Oh yeah, I do. It's on the ticker. Please reach out to me for designer dopamine. It is worth 1 CEU for architects and or designers in your community or space. Learn all about how dopamine can entice your lighting design tile space for a luxury space as well. And again, to join the conversation, log into the WOFB on Facebook. We are having all kinds of amazing conversations there. And I look forward to episode 3 coming out. So stay connected. Thank you guys so much for joining. See you next time.